Hi folks, so here we are collecting some resources for our winter wellness weekend, and our first resource is behind me here. Now this is goat willow. Hopefully you can see that. It grows all over Cornwall. It's got slightly roundish leaves and you want the whippy bits, so let's see what we can find. Here's a close-up look of the willow we're going to use. And you're going to need long whippy bits, probably about the length of your arm, longer if you can find them. Now if you can find some which has dark stems or red stems, they will tend to be a little bit more bendy. So let's see whether we can find any of those. There's some over here, look. And there might be some over there. Right, so you need one long one for your reindeer and another long, slightly thicker one for the hoop that it's going to sit on. Let's see. So you've got your willow. What you need to do is you need to strip the leaves off. Now the easiest way to do this is hold them up top and just pull them off. It's a really satisfying thing to do. Choose a thin bit for my reindeer. I think I'm going to go with that one. Okay, so you want to go to the end of your willow and you want to split the end. Can you see that? Then gradually elongate that split by putting your thumbs on the inside and your fingers supporting the willow as you go down. Now you'll find when you get to a bud like here, it gets a bit trickier, so what you need to do is just slow down when you get to the buds, and if you've got a fat end you want to hold on to the thin end and you want to pull the fat end. If the buds are a problem, nip them off. Hopefully then you'll find it will go past. Now this is probably the trickiest part of the whole operation. So take it slowly, supporting with your fingers underneath, your thumbs in the top. Gradually work your way down the willow, remembering if you start to think that it's running away and it's going too thin one side, support the thin side and pull down on the fatter side. So you're adjusting it as you go along. Don't go too fast, don't get tempted. Think it's going really easily now, so I'm going to speed up because that's when it all goes wrong. Now I found when I first started this that the first 3 or 4 that I did split out, so it's definitely a technique that gets easier with practice. Keep going, splitting your willow all the way down. Now this is a really useful technique, not just for making reindeers, but also if you're going to do some basket weaving. Once you've got your willow split, it's much more pliable and less likely to break. So it's really good for securing handles or doing God's eye lashings and that sort of thing. Now I'm just going to keep going down here. Now I can feel it starting to want to split a little bit there, so I'm slowing it down. There we go. Again, you can see it starts to get a bit of a problem when it gets to a bud, and I'm having difficulty now because I'm trying to support it and make sure that you can still see what it is I'm doing. So I'm just going to try support it on my knee there a second. Now you don't want to go all the way down, so you want to stop about 4 fingers from the end. What you need to do then is hold on to that, take one of these bits of willow and bend it through 90 degrees. Don't worry if it sounds like it's snapping slightly, it won't matter because the bark here is holding it together. Move your fingers around here. Now if you want a short reindeer, 3 fingers, slightly longer reindeer, 4 fingers. I'm going to go for 4 fingers. Then put your thumbnail, bark side, your fingers on top and bend the willow down through 90 degrees. Okay, so that's going to be your 2 legs. Then move your fingers around to here to give us support. Thumbnail in here and bend it back up through 180 degrees this time. Now, if I get this the right way around. Okay, so we've got 2 legs for our reindeer. Now, depending on, reindeer don't have very long tails, so I'm just going to do 2 fingers at the top here. Okay, thumbnail in and bend that down through 180 degrees. So it's coming back down this way. Hopefully you can see that. You're then going to start bending it round. Now you might need to put your thumb on to ease it round because obviously you're dealing with quite a fat bit of willow at the moment. You want it to bend round the back of the tail piece and then along the front here. Okay, so I'm going to just need to ease that around and then around to the front. If it starts to snap, don't worry too much, you should be okay. Ease it round. If it snaps off completely, you'll have to start again, but then round the front, easing it round like that, along to the back, ease it round again, along to the front, ease it round the front, and then you're going to start wrapping the willow around the body like this. There we go. So again, you have to ease it around the corners. Don't rush it, keeping your hands close to where you're working because they're supporting the willow as you go. If you try to do it quickly, too quickly, it'll try to snap and you don't get such a smooth finish. So we ease that round. I think I probably had to do several of these when I first started doing them to be able to get them to come right. When you get to the tail end, come around the tail and then start, if you've still got willow left, work your way back along the body. So that's making the body of the reindeer a bit fatter. It's a nice tubby fat reindeer, so he's got lots of energy to fly around the world pulling Santa's sleigh. Go around the front when you get there and you're going back around the body again. Now as you can see, I'm starting to get towards the end of my willow, so I'm starting to look for somewhere that I can put it to tie it off. So there's a nice hole here in the leg, in the tail. I'm going to put it through there and that should hold it in place. So there we've got 2 legs, a body and a tail. We now need to do the head. So I'm going to turn it around this way. Put my fingers, my 3 fingers in there to support the willow. My thumbnail in and bend that down through 180 degrees all the way down there. It's going to go around underneath the body and all the way back up. Now this bit here is going to be the ears. So I want to, just below the ears, I want to put my thumbnail in there and bend that like that. And then thumbnail in again to bend it down. And a short bend again to bring it back around. And that's going to make the head. Bring it back round to the neck and carefully holding on to it all. This is where it tends to all go boing and spring apart. All the way around the head and back to the nose. I'm holding on to the nose so it doesn't spring apart. Try to hold that in place and then start to wrap the willow around the nose. Oops. See that I wasn't being careful enough there and it's tried to split. So you've got to ease it as you go. Now you see this bit here split off? Don't worry too much, it'll be okay. Because you can always tidy those bits up later on. Or you can just decide you're going to have a reindeer with tusks. And that's fine as well. Okay. I have found that if you take your willow inside, maybe overnight, warms it through a bit and it makes it slightly easier to work. Around the neck. Keep wrapping your willow around his neck. When you get to the body, you can then use the rest of it to wrap around the body. Or if you think your reindeer is fat enough already, I think this one probably is, you can come back up the neck, and if like this one it's had a little bit of a oopsie on its snout there, you can use the slightly whippier bit to then hold that bit in place like that. And we're coming back down here. So I'm coming towards the end of the second bit, so I'm looking for somewhere to put this to hold it in place. So you look for somewhere that's got a bit of hole, poke the end through the hole and carefully pull that through, and that should hold it in place. So here we are. Here's our slightly strange looking reindeer at the moment, but we can tidy up these bits. I found secateurs don't really do it when it gets to these thin bits. You need sharp scissors. So these can be either dogs, horses, reindeer, whatever you want to make them. They're really good for children to play with because they're willow. They're pretty safe. They found some of these in a cave that they were excavating in America from the Stone Age. So children have been playing with these sorts of toys all that time in the past. So it's really nice to make something that has a bit of history to it and adapt it for our own needs. So that's going to be the basis of the reindeer. We then need to get a couple of little branchy bits of stick which we can then poke in here. If they don't poke in very easily, you can use a bit of glue to hold them in place. So I'm going to go and find some sticks and then we'll join it onto our loop. We're going to make the loop that the reindeer sits on. So we want the thicker piece of willow, and as you can see, the way that the willow grows, this bit is called the belly and this bit is called the saddle. So you work with the willow, so it's already wanting to bend that way a little bit. So you're going to use your thumbs on the inside, fingers on the outside, and gently push with your thumbs, pull with your fingers. Do that all the way along. You don't want to be snapping the willow here. You're just easing it to encourage it to go into a circle. As you can see, that's starting to want to bend a bit more. Okay, so what we're going to do then, let's see if I can get both hands in here so you can see, is go to about the middle of the willow and bend it gradually around so that the end starts coming here. Okay. And then tuck the fat end, this end, down and inside the loop. Okay, take the whippy end and ease it round, and you're going to wind that inside the loop. So you're winding it through. Now you don't want to go all the way round, because you want something for your reindeer to sit on. So maybe one more turn. Okay, and then this is going to come back on itself, so you're going to wind it back along here. Again, take your time, working nice and slowly. And if you've still got some willow left, you can come back along again. As you get towards the end of your willow, you're looking for somewhere to put it that's going to hold it in place. So there's a little hole here. I'm going to see if I can get the end through the hole. Tricky when your hands get cold. Snip the end off. Oh, should hopefully go through the hole a bit easier then. There we go. Maybe go from this side. It's always working with nature, so if it doesn't work one way, it's probably a good reason for it. Okay, so that started to go through that little gap there. Ease it through. Gently pull that through, and that should then hold in place. Okay, so there's our circle. It's obviously not very circular at the moment, but that's okay, because the willow is pliable. You can ease it into either a circle, or I quite like having them slightly ovalled. So that's looking a bit better. So our reindeer is going to sit in here, and then we're going to tie it up from the top here. Here is the reindeer we made earlier. I haven't quite finished him off yet. And what we're going to do there is I'm just going to use either secateurs or a sharp knife and sharpen off the end here, so it's a bit chamfered, and that'll make it easier to stick into the gaps. So he's going to stand in the gaps like that, and then we can put his antlers in. Okay. So here you go. You can see I've tidied up our reindeer, and these little sticks here are just pushed into his head. If they don't stay in very easily, you can just put a spot of glue in. And where I've chamfered his feet down, his feet then are just stuck through the gap in the willow there and there. You might need maybe a stick or something like a knitting needle or something like that. Might ease a gap in to be able to get his feet in. Decide which way round you think you want your reindeer to sit. I think I can have mine this way round, so his nose is pointing outwards. And just for the last flourish, I've got a piece of wool, and I'm just going to put that through there like that, so that I've got something to then hang it from. And that then can either hang in a window or hang on your front door. And you can decorate all around here with ribbons or a nice bit of holly or whatever you like. You can decorate your reindeer as well, so some of them I've put googly eyes on, which is quite nice, and maybe a little red pom-pom for the end of the nose if you want it to be Rudolph. Have a go at making your own willow reindeer. I would really love to see what you come up with. And like us, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and we're just launching a new channel called Halleck Homesteading, where we'll do lots of crafts from nature and other homesteading tips, tricks and things we learn as we go on our homesteading journey. So join us on there. We'd love to hear from you, love to see what you're doing.